Welcome to Knights of the Apocalypse, a Roguetech Let's Play. If you enjoy this video and series, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Originally hailing from the Free Worlds League, Apocalypse was the heir to a wealthy family. However, after a night of drunken transgressions, he was sentenced to exile. During his exile, he was able to scrape a living as a gladiator in the Solaris 7 League. Tired of living paycheck to paycheck, Apocalypse decided to form his own mercenary company in an attempt to make his fortune. The Knights of the Apocalypse start out with a fairly meagre roster of mech warriors and a fairly meagre roster of mechs, with a Crab, Vulcan, Venom, Spectre and Mongoose. Whilst the Crab and Vulcan are the heavier mechs, it is definitely the Venom and the Spectre that are the most advanced mechs within their arsenal. Not able to undertake the difficult contracts that are available on Outreach, the Knights of the Apocalypse head to Epsilon Eradani in search of some contracts more to their liking. The Lyran Commonwealth offer a contract to defend a repair and maintenance facility which is likely to come under attack by Blakist forces. Welcome to the Knights of the Apocalypse. You're here with Ordinath and we're playing a Roguetech story, Knights of the Apocalypse. So the first thing to do in our fledgling company is to have a look at what mechs we've got.
There's nothing I can't do.
Thanks, Yang. And so first thing to do is look at what we've got. We've got a Crab, which is a pretty sturdy piece of equipment. A Vulcan, a Spider, Mongoose, and a Spectre. Alright, so I'm just going to go through now and have a look at all of these, and I'll tell you what I've done when I've finished. So, out of all the different mechs we have, the one I'm most worried about is the Vulcan here, just because it's got almost no armour, so it will be very squishy. Good flanker, lots of speed, or some good speed on it, and with the double heat sink kit, it's very heat efficient, but always in danger, I think, here of being blown into a million bits. So it doesn't need all this heat sinks, it's got to keep one of these, so I will move one of these heat sinks into the torso, and then I'll remove the other one to give us an additional ton of armour, and we'll fit that. It will hopefully give us a little more survivability. The priority here in engineering in the early part for the Knights of the Apocalypse is to get a second mech bay up and running, and to enable this we will repair the power conduits, so upgrade the power system first.
Roger that, Commander.
Just before arriving at Epsilon Eradani, our first power system upgrade is complete, so we'll now move on, and even though it's quite expensive, we will get our second mech bay upgrade underway.
Alright, I'll get the team on it right away.
No one can be upgraded at this stage except for Apocalypse himself, so we will focus on getting gunnery and piloting up.
Training confirmed, Commander.
So we've got a range of available contracts here. Probably the first one to undertake, which would be really handy, is to do this defend base, because we'll get some help in doing it with turrets, etc. But it also provides really high level of salvage. So in getting Darius to negotiate this contract, we'll take the better end of the salvage versus payment. Now in terms of mechs, we'll take our heaviest mechs. So we'll take the Crab, the Vulcan, the Spectre and the Venom. I think in terms of getting our best accuracy, we probably want that sitting on the Crab. So Zoom can take the crab. I think next we would like Ditch to be in the Vulcan. Ripley can hit the Spectre, and Apocalypse can be in the Venom. And then for our Harasser, Slide Rule can take it. Very lightly armed, so extremely dangerous, so we'll see how long Slide Rule lasts in that. Here we have arrived at the Lyran Repair and Maintenance Facility. As you can see on this, we'll call this the northern side, we have an enemy Vanguard unit already approaching, and we also have 2 transports trying to make it into the base to get our turrets working. We're fortunately supported by some other small forces, but pretty much worried at the moment, and we've been placed around the base. So early on it's a good idea to allow these high levels of evasion help you. So we will reserve and allow the enemy to go first, so let them to expend all their shots, hopefully against us and missing. So what I'll try and do now is I'll try and destroy this Vanguard, or as much of it as I can, by moving forward with my troops, and we'll see if we can't knock as many of those down before we get the next wave, and I'll talk to you after that. In meeting the enemy Vanguard, Knights of the Apocalypse successfully used the high ground to both outmaneuver and outgun the incoming Owens, Spider and ground movers, with Apocalypse in the Venom successfully outflanking and getting behind the Spider to finish him off.
One less target.
A melee attempt by the Owens was unsuccessful on the Venom, resulting in taking critical damage to the rear of his mech. With the turrets coming online, the ground crawlers were forced to beat a hasty retreat and wait for reinforcements to arrive. The strong reinforcements arrived on the southern side of the facility, made up of 2 elements: a 3 mech, 2 VTOL and crawler element, and a 2 mech 3 crawler element. So we've done pretty well in beating off the Vanguard, getting rid of the Spider, and essentially crippling one of the 2 Owens. So we can probably leave this side to the turrets, I would say. And now we need to start shifting our forces to the south, otherwise we'll find our buildings getting chewed up. That said, I might leave the Venom to continue to harass around this side, and I'll at least start moving back the Crab and the Vulcan as a minimum.
Double time, let's go!
Acknowledged.
Rear armored in. On my way. I copy. Copy that. Light damage. Holding firm.
We've now progressed a little further, but I'm really worried at the moment about this most western of the two reinforcing groups, because they've got a couple of things here. They've got a up-armoured Saladin, which has an AC-20, which if it gets a lucky shot will definitely destroy or seriously damage one of my mechs. And similarly the urban mech with the AC-10, and they can both do a lot of damage to buildings. Also these Rippers, the Ripper and the Mantis, they can do a lot of damage with their bomb racks, so we'll see if we can clear them out. This group I'm not so worried about, but the Vulcan is kind of facing them alone, and at the moment we've got the Spectre coming deep, so tactically we'll try and get the Crab over this side as soon as possible, which I've started moving up the ridgeline, and hopefully he can get in on their flank and cause some damage to them and at least distract them. We will see how we go.
Standing by.
Under heavy fire.
Both enemy VTOLs moved into the base to attack. Unfortunately, slide rule in the lightly armoured harasser was immediately taken out by one of those heavy HE bombs.
Got it.
Ditch in the Vulcan quickly moved in, however, and destroyed the Ripper.
Show me your war face.
Copy that, Commander.
Heavy laser fire from Zoom in the Crab also did significant damage to the Mantis. Fortunately, the up-armoured Saladin failed to hit with his large, heavy AC shot. Turret fire caused damage, but didn't take any enemy guns off the field. So look, now with 5 rounds to go, we're in a spot of bother here really with both this medium reinforced building and this medium military building about to fall. The others are all in pretty good nick, but it won't take long for them to come down if all these forces on this side come. So the Vulcan's just going to need to keep flanking, and I think with our Crab we're going to need to try and get rid of the Mantis and see if we can, or see if we can get rid of the up-armoured Saladin with that AC-20. This other side's totally fine. Between the Venom and the Spectre running around the Owen and the others, we should be able to keep them totally off the base. So it's just really this side. There is some mechs sneaking around up here, but if needs be, I will bring back the Spectre to try and help. Cresting the hill, Zoom in the Crab is able to put down some flanking fire onto the urban mech. However, still needs to move forward to ensure the Saladin doesn't wreck the base. Meanwhile, Ripley and the Spectre continues to duel with the Owen, each trying to outflank and get behind the other. The J-27 transport bravely moves out to try and counter the push by the ground vehicles and the Owen, however is in danger of being overwhelmed. Turrets are now targeted, trying to lower the base's defences. And a further 2 buildings are lost.
One of our structures has been eliminated.
Okay, with 3 rounds to go, it's now looking quite tight. What we might try and do is get our Apocalypse in the Venom to get back up towards the base, and I think the Crab is just going to have to stand and deliver and see how many he can swat. The Vulcan's almost overwhelmed on this side as well, so he'll have to be careful, but maybe he should move out into this open space and see if we can't get some shots from behind. Meanwhile, the Spectre can keep these guys tied up down here, because I think the J-27 is about to be destroyed. Let's see how we go.
Commander?
The J-27 transport is finally destroyed by the ground crawlers. And an enemy Javelin destroys the central turret to the base.
Position confirmed.
Ripley and the Spectre finally brings down the other Owens.
Tango down.
The base, however, has lost half its buildings, and now one more building will mean a failure of this mission for the Knights of the Apocalypse.
Going full throttle.
Apocalypse in the Venom crest the hill just in time to destroy the up-armoured Sladen.
All weapons delivered. And stay down.
The turrets managed to do some good work and take out a crawler. And one of the other crawler crews abandons ship.
All weapons, go!
Zoom in the Crab succeeds in taking out the second of the 2 VTOLs.
Crawler destroyed.
So here we are with 1 round to go, and as you can see, we've done a pretty good job of getting rid of the VTOLs. We've now got rid of 3 of the vehicles, or 3 of the crawlers. You can't even see the wreckage of that one in there. The Vulcan's done a good job of getting around behind people, so it made it very difficult for these guys. And we've managed to scoot Apocalypse in the Venom over to this side. So we've got 7 enemy turns to go. Even though we've only got 3 buildings left, we've got a fair bit of health on each of them. Over this southern side, Ripley has managed in the Spectre to finally take out this Owens. And all he's got now is the Hunter and the Pegasus who've moved up. But there's also an Ost Scout which has managed to make its way up this side of the mountain, so we'll get him just to sort of charge into their rear and keep them off balance. And hopefully we'll win this mission. Zoom in the Crab, fires all his lasers to keep the enemy at bay, overheating and shutting down in the process.
My heat gauge is getting pretty high. Shutting down. Gotta cool her off.
Apocalypse is knocked over by a charging mongoose.
Roger that.
But then is still able to get up despite the loss of an arm and destroy the mongoose.
That one's gone.
With only 3 buildings remaining, the Knights of the Apocalypse have succeeded in their first mission and have their first payday. Despite the loss of the Harasser and the loss of an arm on the Venom, overall it's a successful mission.
Mission successful.
And here we have it. Obviously we didn't manage to keep all the buildings alive. In fact, it was real touch and go. And we didn't even destroy any of the enemy lancers. However, overall we've made $82,000, which is okay. But more importantly, let's see what we get from the salvage. So as we can see, we did have some damage to the Venom, however it's just an arm, so that can be replaced with no real cost. Bit of armor damage on some of the other ones, and the Harasser went up in smoke, injuring Slide Roll. which is to be expected considering how lightly armoured it is. Okay, so there's a piece here where they say... Okay, so we have a salvage dispute. Now, 4 pieces of Owens, whilst it's an Omni Mech, it's very cheap and poor Omni Mech. And what they're offering is some engine cores, which are quite lucrative and valuable from a dollar's point of view. Plus, if we accept, we actually get some rep. So the sooner we get our rep high, the more money we earn from different missions. So that's okay. The armor's a bit of a meh, and so is the ECM. But yep, I think we're happy to accept that. So I'll just quickly look through the salvage and then tell you what I've taken. Okay, so what we've taken here is the Endo Steel and an Engine XL. This was from, I assume, the ejected Owen Omni Mech that we killed. So XL engines early in the game, absolutely critical, and even if you don't use them in the end for selling, they're the most valuable item in the game. Endo Steel's your most efficient way to get more weight off your mech. Ferrofibrous is the second most useful way of getting weight off a mech. It just takes a lot more reserve slots, so not quite as valuable. And then the double heat sink kits, again, early on, really important. So trying to get all your mechs with Endo Steel double heat sinks, if they've got any sort of heat weapons, heat generating weapons like lasers, is really important. And then your XL engine's the next most important to keep them moving fast. Ferrofibrous is the last most important. Typically you'll use it, but until you get the clan stuff, this stuff's okay, but eventually you want the clan stuff because you need the slots back. Okay, so additionally we've received a couple of pieces of Hunter. We did get a piece of Owens and a Mongoose and a Pegasus and a Ripper. We scored the AC-20, which is great. We scored 3 MG pluses, which is nice as well. Medium impulse laser and a medium laser is okay. Small cockpit, we'll just sell that straight away because we don't want or need that. FCS standard, we don't have any primitive mechs, so we'll sell that straight away as well. And jump jets, we'll keep those. Sensors basic we'll get rid of, but we will keep the sensors powered. So $68,592 in 20 days is the repair bill for this. Not to be unexpected at this early stage, so we'll get going on fixing that. Join me again next time when Knights of the Apocalypse will take on another mission, and let's see if this fledgling mercenary company can survive in the harsh world of the 31st century. Remember, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you can continue watching the story of the Knights of the Apocalypse. Just for those interested in the settings, the way we've got it set up is 4 parts per mech assembly, lowest level of starting money and commander experience, slow on the mech warrior progress, Ronin and higher chance down at 10%, the mech recovery chance at 70%, contract payment at generous, reduced pilots per system to 2 and advanced mech warriors to rare, and everything else is as default. Devon Harris, aka Apocalypse, comes from the Free Worlds League in Marek Space. Has an interest in history and has chosen the career of a gladiator. This gives him +2 tactics, the quirks of Lost Tech, Bookish, Gladiator and Honest, as well as will provide us some special items.